Today we're going to talk about caring for your 1,000-mile boot. 1,000-mile boot is a leather sole shoe, leather upper, so it needs to be cleaned regularly, kept dry, and conditioned. Now we're going to talk about taking care of an older pair of 1,000-mile boots. First thing you want to do is to clean the upper. Remove the lace first so you can get into all of the nooks and crannies, so to speak. And then you take a damp cloth, any kind of a rag or a cloth, wet it, make sure you get most of the water out of it, and then just, go over the shoe thoroughly and make sure it's clean, well clean. You don't want to be conditioning and polishing shoes that have dirt on them, so. You clean that, you let it dry just a bit, and then if you've got some excess dirt, let's say in the edges here especially, or here or any place like that, you can use any kind of a wire bristle brush, or this is a tool that can be bought especially for doing this that has a little edger on it and things like that. You can buy these at any kind of like shoe repair shop or things like that. And then you make sure that all of the dirt is removed. First thing we're going to do basically to the shoe is we're going to condition the upper with either a leather conditioner, a shoe cream. I'm going to apply the cream with my hand. Again, you can use a damp cloth if you don't like to get your hands dirty. I like doing it by hand because you can really work it in nicely and make sure that you get every spot well. And again, you want to cover every part of the shoe because it's all important. You notice that when you use your hand, you can really get at all of the spots in the shoe in between these eyelets. It's all important to keep it conditioned and moist. Even you see you've got a leather apron on these shoes. You want to get that as well. There's a lot of natural oils in the leather, but this helps to reactivate them and keep them there, basically. I would never recommend using any kind of silicone or alcohol-based conditioners or sprays or anything like that, because that tends to dry out the leather rather than to condition it. So make sure that when you buy something, you read the label and see what's inside. Basically, you cover the entire shoe. And again, you would want to do the upper, and then as with the new pair of shoes, I would recommend just taking the leather conditioner and working it on the outsole. Even the worn part of the outsole, you can't do any damage here. It doesn't look pretty anymore because you've worn the shoe, but this helps to extend the life of the outsole and keep the outsole from either cracking or just sort of expanding and wearing out much quicker than it normally would. And so here we go. We've got the entire shoe done now. We would let that dry, and then you can either brush it off, wipe it off, or buff it, and then you would have a new pair of shoes ready to go. Some other things that you can do to shoes, for those of you who have shoes that have like nicks and things of that nature on them, is that you could use a polish if you want to work some color back into the shoe. And again, I'll just apply it by hand just for a second, but I would recommend, if you're going to do this, to use a brush, but here you can just get a little bit of a polish on these marks, and that helps heal them and keep them protected, and then go over them afterwards with the shoe cream, basically again, and do the same thing as we did with the other shoe. Another thing that you can do if you're really ambitious is that you can buy sole edge sealer. Really all you're doing here is just treating the edge, getting some of the color back in, but more importantly, sealing that edge for further wear. And there you can see it soaking in pretty intensely there. This shoe really needed, and that'll help, as I said, the shoe when it'll make the shoe look nicer, but it'll also help it when you're out in the elements. Once the shoe is dried, you can then wipe it clean, but I would recommend brushing it with a hairbrush to bring up some of the natural luster in the leather. Also helps remove any of the excess conditioner and polish that you may have gotten on the shoe. So you hit all of the pieces of the shoe, and again, most leathers, and especially the leather that's in 1,000-mile boots, has a lot of natural oils built into it, tanned into it. When you brush the leather, it helps bring those oils up to the surface, and again, that's a good thing for keeping the leather nice and moist and pliable, but also helps protect it, basically. So get a nice luster on it. You're also going to want to hit places that probably wouldn't show in terms of being nice and glossy or anything, but you want to remove all of that excess material and make sure you work it right into the shoe. Again, like with the leather conditioner, you really can't over buff a shoe, so don't worry about that. And again, you've put conditioner on the outsole, so you want to work that through, clean the excess material off, get it looking nice and revitalized. And then there you go, ready to be relaced and to hit the road. Here's your now cleaned and conditioned pair of 1,000-mile boots. One other thing I'd like to mention is that if you happen to get caught out in the rain or get your outsoles, your leather outsoles, significantly wet, I would recommend that you dry them away from heat thoroughly and then recondition them again before you wear them again. This will help to extend the life of the outsole for you.